This is the Ordinary Business Podcast for business owners who want honest conversations, a lean business, and an extraordinary life on their own terms. Hillary, what is one little life hack that you swear by that maybe someone who's not neurodivergent would be confused by?
I have found that the thing that I have to do is have a very specific spot that is also cute or aesthetically pleasing, that I will put all of my stuff, like my wallet, my keys, my phone, anything that I need on a day-to-day basis, because I will 100% lose those things. And it's also in a weird spot that's not right by the door. It's just in a spot that I know I will walk by it and have them there.
Is it cute because it's memorable to you? So it stands out and you're I remember it goes on this pink thing, purple thing. What's the cute part of it?
It feels more exciting or fun for me to put it in the correct place versus where I would generally just kind of toss things everywhere. It just feels more fun and exciting to put them in the specific cute little bowl.
Okay, that makes total sense. And it does make me think about how often I hear business owners being I do this really boring task and I add some whimsy into it. So I love it. That is a great little hack. So I feel that would be very helpful for people. We are talking today about you were diagnosed late in life with ADHD. And so you've had to make some adjustments in your life and business to kind of accommodate for that. But before we get into all of that, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do?
I'm Hillary, and I'm a registered dietitian that works with mostly women who are really passionate about exercise and movement, and they also want to change their body and feel okay about it. And I do this through my business. It's Nutrition Unbound. And 2026 will be my 6th year of business.
Amazing. I love it. I love it. Hillary's actually also one of my past clients, so you should definitely go follow her. Okay, so diving into kind of business life, kind of how things have shifted in your business. When we were talking, one of the things you brought up was theme days to kind of reduce transitions. And so I want to hear about how you decided what goes on what day and kind of what changed once you started doing this.
The theme days are something I've been doing probably since the earlier part of this year, and they've continued to evolve based on the success or how I feel about them. So at the core of everything, I have my client work. So the way that I have my business structured, I really let that lead the way. And I make sure that I do that work first on any day if, there's that client's focus connection. But outside of that, I have the theme days where I am doing admin work behind the scenes, or I'm doing different types of content or just other business-focused tasks that are not client-facing in that communication aspect. I also have evolved these themes in terms of the time, because my perception of time and how long I think it's going to take me to do something is generally far, it's a big difference, because I imagine I will take 30 minutes to write a newsletter, but that's usually not how long it actually takes me. So the timeline is something I'm also evolving, and it's been really helpful to try to build these theme days, because now I'm seeing more and more how much time I actually spend on things versus how much I imagine I would. And I also, on top of the themes, make sure that for calls, I do calls with, anyone on specific days of the week. I don't do calls on Mondays or Fridays, just in case of holidays and childcare. And it helps me to to structure my week a little bit better.
Yeah, I like that. So are the themes really broad? Is it like Tuesdays kind of like content day and anything kind of falling into that?
I keep them more broad because when I in the past have put like a lot of rigidity around what I need to do, I find that I meet myself with a lot of resistance and my brain thinks that I should be doing something else that
Mm.
I think is more important. But having that flexibility helps me to maybe feel like I have a little more breathing room and that I am not being forced, quote unquote,
Mhm.
forced to do this specific task.
Okay, so diving a little bit deeper into the days and the different tasks, how did you learn like what time of day, like morning versus afternoon kind of thing, are best for calls versus like client work versus admin work?
This has honestly been the bigger challenge for me, especially after becoming a mom. So I've had to really find and trial and error so much. I really do prioritize getting client work done first and foremost because I want to have my brain fresh and ready to go to communicate with them. The call piece, that one can be a little trickier because I would like to get some more of that like deep work or extra brain power work done earlier in the day. But I find that if I have a call later in the day, especially multiple, I really struggle to start tasks and do them because I'm like, oh, what if I forget I have the call at, 2 p.m. So it's
Mhm.
really difficult for me. So that's where I have started or really use a lot of external cues and reminders so that I don't have to like, quote unquote, trust my brain to remember.
If your site isn't bringing in dream clients while you're out living your life or taking a nap, we should fix that. Just Creatives designs SEO forward websites that make you impossible to ignore and easier to Google. Get a site that shows off your expertise and actually converts. Learn more at justcreatives.com. I want to switch gears a little bit away from like the days and times. What is like an adaptation or a tool that surprised you or something that you're like, is this really going to matter? Like, is this really actually going to help me? But maybe has actually made a big difference in your day.
There's been several tools that I've started to implement, and I think the tools have been the most impactful for me. The first is a timer, and I purchased one for my toddler and one for myself.
I love it.
And it's a cute little rainbow timer and it lights up when it gets to the, stopping point. And that tool in particular has been the most impactful for me because I can't get lost in what I'm doing.
Mm,
And it's not, my phone or my computer and just having the timer right in front of me and it lights up and makes noise helps me to see that I need to stop.
mhm,
And then if I find that I keep trying to like reset time, that to me clues in I've mismanaged or kind of misscheduled time or my expectations were off. And I was very skeptical of the timer working because I've used my phone, I've used my computer, I've used all these other timers and I just ignore them most of the time. I'll just like press end and keep doing whatever I was doing. But for whatever reason, the physical, like old fashioned timer is really, really
mhm.
helpful for me. And I think it's something that's really helping me to shape my days in general because I will make note if I, keep restarting it. I can't just snooze it.
Yeah.
The The other thing that I would say, like, there's the other tool that I really love is just having like a good old fashioned pen and paper, like weekly to do. That's probably what helps evolve my themes and the structures of my day because I can brain dump all my thoughts and then
Mhm.
organize them for the week. And for whatever reason, writing it out feels so much better than putting it into some type of software. It sticks with me more than
Yeah. Mhm.
computer.
Yeah, I get that. Do you use like a planner to brain dump or are you like, no, I'm a blank sheet of paper like brain dumping and organizing?
I would say it's a mix. I found a nice planner online that has the days broken up, and then there's different columns for like different levels of priorities, and then a note spot at the
Nice.
bottom. So I've kind of figured out where I'll put the brain dump versus where things are actually organized. And that way I don't have a million sticky notes everywhere with my thoughts, because that was kind of what I was doing before. And then I didn't ever do anything with the sticky notes. So having
Mm-hmm.
everything on one paper is really helpful.
Yeah. I'm curious kind of the approach with the timer. Is it like I'm giving myself an hour to like work on the newsletter and I have to get it done? Or is it more like I'm giving myself an hour to do this just to make as much progress as I can?
I would say it's a mix of both. And it's something I'm really working on for myself, because the leaving the task unfinished is really difficult. I
Mm,
struggle like just stepping away until, the next day or till when I have time again, because it eats at my soul, I guess. So I'm it's kind of twofold. I'm trying to start to build skills around, or learn how to step away from the project and know that it's okay and I don't have to finish it. And also I use that to see how skewed my expectations of time are. Now, like if it goes off and I know that I'm close, I'll go ahead and finish. But if it's, I'm halfway through, then that's where I'm practicing stopping, writing any last minute notes to help me start again next time, and then moving on.
mm-hmm. I'm also curious, going back to the phone and the timer. One, I think part of why it works is my own thoughts, is that just that little bit of whimsy and something fun since it's a rainbow. But I'm also curious, did you find with using the phone as a timer, was it also, oh, I'm picking up my phone and then it's like you start scrolling and get distracted on things? Was that also part of the problem?
Oh, that was definitely a challenge sometimes,
Yeah.
especially if I would see a text or like I just wanted to go check something, and then all of a sudden an immense
Mhm.
amount of time had gone by. And then, oh my gosh, what black hole did I just leave?
Yeah.
And a little tool that I recently got for my phone that I was very skeptical of, and maybe you've seen the ads online because they're all over my social media, is the brick,
Mhm.
the
I was
little
gonna
brick.
ask you about it.
I really love it, because I would just bypass all of the kind of other
Mhm.
apps that try to prevent you from doing things on your phone. And the brick is really helpful because you do have to like go up and put your phone on the brick. And it's definitely helped me to be more cognizant, and
Mm.
uh, helps me to not get on my phone in the morning.
Yeah, that makes sense. I have questions about the brick
Yeah.
because I have debated on getting it. My problem is my phone is connected to my CGM, my sensor. And so I'm like, would it even be effective for me? Because I would still have to keep, like, I can keep my phone like in the room. So, but is the whole point that you're supposed to like brick it in another room?
I keep my phone in the room, and I just block like mostly social media apps. So you
Oh,
can
okay.
pick and choose
Okay.
what you block. The biggest downside is that it doesn't have a geofence on it. So I traveled a few weeks ago and I didn't bring it with me because I didn't think of it. And my phone locked itself out. Now you do have like ways to emergency unbrick it, but that was kind of like, I was
Yeah.
bummed to use my emergency on that.
Things to think about. Okay. So I also want to talk about how you navigate being a mom and a partner and a business owner when your executive function, like with having ADHD, kind of has its own opinions.
I would say it's a huge learning
Yeah.
process, and I'm definitely still figuring it out, because before I became a parent, I was able to like obviously have a lot more time within my day, and I could be a lot more like flexible. However, I'm also someone who really likes structure and predictability, which you also don't get as a parent. Becoming a parent really just made everything that I was familiar with and comfortable with flip upside down, and I think in a good way. And that's where I've been trying to learn a lot. I would say some of the things that I've done, they were really difficult for me to do, was set a lot stronger boundaries around like when I'm working and when I'm not
Mm.
working. So when she's home or, we're all doing things together, like I am not working because I don't have that ability to just kind of pop in and pop out. I want to like get into the weeds of things. So I've set a lot firmer boundaries on when I'm actually working. And I also make sure that I better communicate with, anyone around me. These are the times like I do need to be working, even though I in theory have this time flexibility,
Mhm.
which that, in some cases is really helpful. And I guess learning to better communicate with like my partner or my husband, because some of the different tasks that I maybe would have taken care of in the past, that the mental load and my ability to figure out what is my priority for the day is lower. Even with all of these things, I still feel like I am very much in the figuring it out stage. Because when I was diagnosed earlier this year, it was oh, this is why all of these other things people have shared with me, why they never worked for me. And
Mhm.
it's also I've gone, over 30 years of doing things this way, and now I have to figure things out again. So it's been a very validating kind of
Mhm.
experience, but also really tough because trying to change all of these things and do life still.
Yeah, yeah, which makes total sense. It's a big adjustment. With the setting stronger boundaries, do you feel like that was more of a stronger boundaries within yourself, kind of? Or was it like, did you have to communicate that with clients and be like, I am not working these hours anymore?
They were largely self boundaries
Yeah.
because the boundaries were set. It was me that was
Mhm.
typically breaking them and not honoring my own boundaries, which, as we all know, can create a whole other slew of issues. So it was me actually committing to those boundaries and holding them, which over time I've found helps everyone.
Mhm. Yes, it does. And I think that is truly like one of the hardest things of being a business owner is like we set boundaries and we like, this is in my contract and this is what I'm telling my clients when I'm in the office and when I'm available. It's like we aren't honoring the things that we set up and we're like, oh, I'll just pull out my laptop for a little bit.
It's the same thing because some of it's fun and it's
Mm-hmm.
enjoyable
Yes.
and I like to do it. And I'm also reminded I need other hobbies, other things. Maybe not the home reno projects that I was very into for a few months. Those were a little too time expensive.
Mm.
So maybe
Mm-hmm.
a less demanding hobby will be
Yes. Yes. Okay, to wrap up, what is one thing that you wish more business owners understood about neurodivergence, especially for those who were like diagnosed later in life, like you?
I wish others felt more empowered and okay asking for help, even if they're not sure how to communicate it.
Mm,
Because there's been so many times where I felt like really stuck or frustrated or overwhelmed. And because for years and years, did all of the things and didn't ask for help, or I didn't miss a deadline, or, I didn't drop the ball to my like definition of dropping the ball. Um, when when I started to need help, I didn't know how to, or I didn't feel comfortable asking
mm,
for help because I thought that was on me. And I think that when we're, especially later in life, like trying to reacquaint ourselves with our brains and better understand ourselves, there is going to be these trial and error things that we do that don't work, or maybe they work really well. And having extra support or just someone to listen to you is way more impactful than I think others realize.
I think asking for help can be a lot of different things. I really just think something that people might not think about. I've only had this happen one time, but I had a past client who was diagnosed late in life. And she actually told me that and was like, "Hey, I really prefer like over communicating. Is this okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's fine." Like, I think she wanted to like hop on a call or she wanted to send me a loom or me send a loom or something like that. It wasn't anything extreme. And I just really appreciated her being honest. Like, that was not required. And honestly, it didn't really change anything on my end. I was like, of course we can hop on a call. It wasn't asking for anything extra and extravagant. And I know everyone will have different levels of comfortability being open about that. And maybe you don't feel the need to explain that to every service provider. But I think it's just something for us to consider as business owners. I feel like between each other, we can be more open and honest and be like, hey, I have ADHD. And like, so if we could do X, Y, and Z during our meetings or in between sessions or, like whatever it is that an option, you know? And so I think that's something to consider.
I agree 100%. And I've changed things within my work where I'll ask folks, do you want a voice response? Do you want
Mm.
written? Do you want of the two, like short and sweet? Do you want me to get in the weeds of things? Because I have found for myself that I very much prefer different types of like delivery for certain topics or, amount
Mhm.
of detail. And so I like to let people kind of pick what they want for that week,
Mhm.
and they can continue to adjust that because like you said, some people calls all the way. Others, the looms, great because there's the voice
Mhm.
part, but you can do it later or read. And it gives the different listeners and the way people just like to communicate more options. And I love the Loom videos you do because you can go back
Yeah.
and listen or replay, and it's really valuable to have multiple types of communication, kind of like in school where there's different types of learnings. They think same thing. We just forget that as adults.
Yes. Yeah. I like that. And I know some people are probably like, but these are my boundaries and this is like it's my business. And so I don't know the perfect answer for like what if you both have ADHD and one of you needs voice and one of you doesn't? Like I don't have the perfect answer, but as you were talking, I was like, oh, that would be a great little thing to like put in my onboarding questionnaire of like, do you prefer voice notes? Are voice notes easier? Or do you prefer looms? Like, so you gave me something to go tweak. But thank you so much for sharing your insights and your experience. Where can we connect with you online and learn more about what you do?
You can find me on Instagram, dietitian.hillary, or my website that you just designed, nutritionunbound.com.
Awesome. I will link that in the show notes. But thank you again for being here.